Hello everybody, welcome back to C&S Corvettes in beautiful sunny Sarasota, Florida. It's your Corvette buddy Lyle here to talk to you about more interesting, exciting, and hopefully helpful stuff. Today we are having round 2 of Answer Viewer Questions Day. So I'm going to go through, Tony's put a bunch of questions in a C&S Corvettes hat here. I'm going to go through, read each question, and give a brief to-the-point answer to some of the questions you guys have been leaving in the comments of our videos. Oh, by the way, if you have Corvette questions and you would like to have your question answered on the channel, this is the video that you want to ask it in the comments below. Try to keep your questions fairly straightforward and one-dimensional. I can't explain what the pink wire behind the radio on your 85 Corvette goes to. That I can't do. But general questions or specific questions, I can usually get you a reasonable answer. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, here we go, guys. Using one of our beautiful C&S Corvettes trucker caps, available on the website if you want to support our channel. Let's see what question number 1 brings us. I'm looking at a 2008 Z06 with 14,500 miles. What do I need to look out for since the vehicle is 17 years old? Torque tube? Engine mounts? Outside looks well taken care of, but everything is 17 years old. What's a good purchase price range for this vehicle? Okay, so that's several questions. I'm going to try to answer them all quickly. What do I need to look out for? The answer is D, all of the above. Torque tube, balancers, engine mounts, any of the wear items, yes. Now, less than 15,000 miles in a car that is, 17, 18 years old, that's not a lot of miles. So I would definitely want to go over it with a fine-tooth comb before I put my hard-earned money into it. The bigger problem I see is you need to be familiar with the valve problems that the heads are having in the LS7 engine. We've done a couple of different videos about that. Educate yourself on that and learn about what to look for and what the solutions cost so that should you get into the problem of owning one of these cars and having the valve problem, you know what you're going to end up paying. Ideally, you would find a C6 Z06 that already had the heads done. That is the absolute best way to buy it, even if you have to pay too much for it. Lastly, and this is a question that I really hate answering, what's a good purchase price? I don't know. What's a Henway? Price range on a nice C8 Z06, or C8 Z06, C6 Z06 is going to be somewhere between $37,000 and $50,000. There are so many variables that come into play with that. I can't give you a solid answer because I need to see the car. What is your shop's experience with the cylinder deactivation issues in the C7s? Is that prominent, and would you recommend deactivating it? Yes, and yes. Are the AFM, DFM plug-in disablers sufficient for short-term until an actual mechanical rebuild can disable it? Yes. The most popular of these is the range module made by Holley that you plug into your OBD2 port under the dash, and that will keep your car in V8 mode all the time, regardless of what other mode you have it in the car. Really, the AFM engine issues in the Corvette tend to occur after 100,000 miles. So if you're in the 60, 70,000 mile range, you probably won't have any engine problems, but by putting that range module and disabling the shift from 4-cylinder to 8-cylinder to 4-cylinder over and over again, in theory, you are prolonging the life of the car. The only true solution is to eliminate the AFM system completely. There are kits out there to do that, so that's the answer. First-time Corvette buyer looking at a C7 Grand Sport or Z06 for fun and cross-country touring. Good choice. How long do you think the electronic modules for this generation will be available? Is there aftermarket support for supplying new modules or reconditioning originals? For the major modules, the body control module, the engine control module, the stuff that's really important, rebuild services are available. And the good news there is that especially in the C7, a lot of the modules in that car were shared with other GM products. They were just programmed specifically to work in the Corvette. So locating either a replacement or a company that can do a good solid rebuild on a unit you're having trouble with shouldn't be a difficult thing for at least the next decade or so. But there will be certain little things, I'm sure, that will become scarce, as they always do with Corvettes. And that's when you rely on people like us to locate and support you by testing them and guaranteeing them when you need them. Do you recommend emptying the gas tank and running the engine until it is out of fuel before putting the Corvette in longer-term storage up to 2 years or more? No. If you have a car that you're not going to touch for 2 years, especially a Corvette, my strong suggestion would be sell it. Now, hear me out. If you put it into storage, even if your storage is free, I'm sure you're still going to be insuring it. I'm sure you're still going to be, making sure that there's electricity going to the battery tender, whatever you're going to do. There is no way to let a car sit untouched, unstarted, and unran for 2 years or more and have the gas not be curdled, have your entire fuel system be upset, your in-tank pumps be ruined. Honestly, here's exactly the notes I wrote for this. Save the storage, save the insurance, save the inevitable repairs when you take it out of storage, sell this car, buy the identical car 2 to 3 years from now for less money than you would have had in it. So that is the answer. If you're going to set something aside, especially a modern Corvette, C5, 6, or newer, just don't. Sell it and go buy another one in 2 years when you can buy the same car and maybe even a better car for less. My 1999 rear view mirror glass is becoming faded and foggy. Is there a way to replace just the glass, or is the entire assembly required? It's a short answer. On the C5, the mirror is not, you can't disassemble the mirror like you can on a C4. So the answer is no. You need to just find yourself a nice donor mirror from a salvage car that the silvering on the mirror is still nice, and buy that one. Nice examples run anywhere from $50 to $90. They're not terribly expensive and they're readily available. I love my 2007. I used to drive it fairly often, but now I don't drive it a lot. I gas up about twice a year when the tank is around half full. I use only Tier 1 Premium. My question, will my gas be okay, or should I run it down to closer to empty, then gas up? First of all, if you're only running the car that often in a year's time, I would say that, just like I would say to the other gentleman, sell it. If you want one in 2 or 3 years, go buy one. But at this point, you're driving the car 10 times a year. It's not worth the investment. It's not worth all of the expenses that go with it. However, if this is a car you want to have till you die, my own one thing would be make sure that you use no ethanol fuel. And I'm assuming that's what you mean by Tier 1 Premium, but no ethanol fuel. And I would add a fuel stabilizer into the tanks just to try to keep it from going bad on you. But again, if you're only driving your Corvette or any car that often in a year, either find somebody who wants to drive it for you or sell it, because you're going to end up costing yourself so much money in needless repairs over time. First, thank you for the fantastic Q&A idea. Second, thanks for reordering the Super Pro bushing kits. I just got mine from you guys delivered this morning. I'm actually stoked to begin that project this winter. Now my question. I fully intend to do the upper and lower ball joints while I'm in there, as I've already replaced the Bilstein shocks, the brake rotors, and rebuilt the calipers. What ball joints does C&S trust and install? For years and years, we used to trust Moog, M-O-O-G, but honestly, Moog has sold the name to a different company. They are now all made overseas, and I am not as happy with the quality anymore. The ones that we are having good luck with these days is a company called Mevotech, M-E-V-O-T-E-C-H. You can buy those ball joints. You want the Supreme version. You can buy the Supreme version of those ball joints online for less than $30 a piece. They're really, really good. If I wanted to buy a C5 Z06 from a dealer across the country, how can I get a pre-buy inspection? This is one I answer quite frequently on the phone and otherwise. Don't trust, when it comes to Corvettes, don't bother with companies like Lemon Squad. Lemon Squad is fine if you want them to identify the fact that there's actually 4 wheels and 4 tires on the car, that there is a steering wheel, that it does start up and the headlights work. That's great. They're good for that. When it comes to Corvette specific knowledge, they're not going to be worth anything to you. What you're going to want to do is locate wherever this car is located. You need to look in and find a specialist garage that deals with these cars regularly, who can actually do a knowledgeable and thorough inspection. If you need help finding that, you can always go to our website, CorvettePartsCenter.com, click on the More tab up on the top, and then you can go and view all of the viewer recommended shops that you guys have recommended to us all over the world. And then if there's nothing in the area that car is located in, My suggestion is find the nearest Corvette club to that town, reach out to them and see who they trust. But you want a Corvette specialist. If you're going to pay the money, you want a Corvette specialist to do the inspection on your Corvette. I am a new owner of a 1968 Corvette. I had it inspected when I bought it, but I want to have it looked over before I put it away for the winter. What should my focus be? What do I want to make sure I have them check for me? All right, let me just run through the things as they came to my head. Fluids, rubber hoses, brake lines, especially brake hoses, calipers, any of the things that could leak or could try to kill you in the springtime when you do take the car out for a drive. I would also add to that anything to do with the power steering if your car is so equipped. And the nice thing is, a lot of these things could be a winter project for you while the car's in storage. So if you identify those things now, it'll give you something to do when you can't be driving the car, but you could still enjoy the car and get it ready for springtime travels. Why did General Motors quit making the OEM center console armrest for the C7 Corvette? Now, this kind of goes back to one of the previous questions about how long is GM or other manufacturers required to supply these things? But Corvette is less covered due to its lower production and smaller pool of possible buyers. Suppliers can also fail over time. Companies that, GM had contracted with to make that part may have had financial difficulty and they, went belly up. Who knows? But ever since their government-assisted reorganization, GM has been very spotty at best about living up to keeping parts available for Corvette in particular, because once they have the money for the car, they are less interested than some manufacturers in keeping that car on the road and running well. It's difficult. People in the aftermarket like us can pick things up. Like we just introduced our new shifter knobs for the automatic transmissions in the 06 to the 13 Corvette because there was a hole in the market there and we are filling it. I think someone will end up making the center console for the C7 because we know how wrinkly and ugly they get. But at this time, I'm not aware of anybody who is. So that is question and answer period for today. If you have additional questions or answers or comments on some of the answers I gave today, make sure to put them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have Corvette friends that don't know about us, please share our information with them so that we can get to know them and they can get to know us. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.